Hey folks, so how's it going? So, what is today's video about? Well, let's see. Bit of styrofoam. You know that stuff that you insulate your house with so that you can stay warm or keep your house cool through the years? I decided to make some art with it, and that's what I did. So, why don't you watch the video, and you'll see me making styrofoam and tape and paint and a brush and of course my oil pens, of course, right? All of those are going to make a piece of art. Now, my only problem is I don't know if you call it a relief or you call it a sculpture. So let me know. I'm not really sure about that. But while you're watching it, like, subscribe, all those things. Okay, guys? So sit back, watch, and enjoy the video. So on my other channel, I was doing a little piece that needed some sculpting done. And so I was using styrofoam, and I like working with styrofoam. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to grab a piece of styrofoam and make a piece of art. And there you are. So that's what I'm going to do. So sit back and watch and enjoy. Huh. So as you can see, I took a gold marker and basically just drew out a picture, a face, and that. So now I'm going to cut that out, and then I will glue that on, and then I'm going to add more parts. So there's going to be a background and a foreground kind of situation going on there. So you're going to see different levels with the whole thing. That's the idea anyways. So like I said, I'm going to cut this out. Now, I always tend to paint the foam first, simply because I find that you seem to be able to cut better. I don't know, it's just for that little extra piece that's there that gives it that ability to, you know, stay a little better. You don't get those bumps and lumps that sometimes you get when you're cutting with styrofoam and that. And so like I said, it makes it a little easier just to be able to go along like this. A little bit extra, and then once I've got that cut out, right, just follow along like I said. Boom, there you are. And then I'm just going to break that apart, and that should help me right there. So I cut out the head. What I'll do is I'll then sand down here on the edges and stuff like that, smooth it out, and then I can paint it black again. So I keep working on it, and then right here I'm going to cut some shoulders so it has that kind of a look. And then I don't know if I'll add in extra stuff on top of that, but right now this is where I'm at. So I think it looks good so far. Cut up the shoulders. Again, when I do this type of thing, I don't actually worry about it being all squared up, because it's going to be a relief. It's going, if somebody wants to have it and they put it on their wall, it already has some kind of interesting shape to it. So there might actually be more stuff that I might cut out. I'm not sure yet. But as you'll see, I have overhang on the shoulders, but that's okay, because that's what it's okay when it goes on the wall. It's going to have its own look about it. It's not a picture, you know, it's a sculpture and picture combined. Yeah, there you go. So I have now painted up the sides, and that I will let that dry, and then I'm going to make decisions on if I'm going to cut out pieces or whatever like that. And there you are. Okay, so to give that three-dimensional feel that I want to give, what I've done is I've cut another piece in behind, and then I'm going to select and figure out what cuts I'm going to make to take out and put back in. And that will actually give me that three-dimensional feel. Okay? Okay, so I've been looking at this, and I figure what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cut here, right? So when we're looking at it, this part of the face will look forward, and then we'll have a little bit of a divot in that way. And then I'll cut along the jawline, and again, that will drop back too. And then there'll be the front here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but at this point here, those are the moves I think I'm going to make. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I've made those cuts, and now what you're going to see is that this other piece will go underneath, right? And that is going to give my three-dimensional feel to it. And again, I'm going to be gluing and then sanding to shape everything out so it gives, you know, that nice feel. and it all looks nice and uniform. So there's your idea, right? And you can see how it has that three-dimensional feel to it. Now what is a matter of gluing and then putting this here and then sanding, and to get it again I'll have to paint again. So sometimes it's you cut out a chunk and then add back into it, so it just keeps popping back and forth. But I think it's going to look pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Now what I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to just take some glue here and just flip this over here, and just a nice white I use the wood glue for this one here because it actually works really well for attaching styrofoam together. Not so good for that sculpture I did in one of my other videos there. So basically, like I say, just brushing this on. It's kind of goopy. Try to get, you know, as much as you can. Make a nice line. And there we are. So not too hard. And again, oops, be careful. And then I'll attach that, and then I'll sand it, and then that'll get painted. And then I'm going to add in more paint details later. So it's not that hard to do. So simple, boom, I've got it attached, line it up, make sure it looks good. And then wait for it to dry, and then start doing some sanding. So you can see a couple of edges there where it's a little over, but that's not going to be a big issue, to be honest. And yeah, so that part right there is the only one right now, and then the other one I can sand it just to make it look good, and then paint it, and again all kinds of other details later. Yeah, I think I like it. I always seem to say stuff like that. Yeah. Now for sanding, all I've been doing is I have some sanding blocks with different grades, and so what I'll do is once that's dry and stiff, then I can start to just hold it in my hand and sand it down to what I want. Shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so I've actually sanded the head, as you can see, right? I don't worry too much about the seams being perfect. I mean, in some spots maybe where somebody might be looking at it, but I don't mind that. A little bit of texture, a little different look to it. You know, and then you'll see, like, okay, so you know what happens there is that's the part that goes in next. See, so how that works? Yeah, so it can look pretty cool. And then I think I already did, yeah, I did the neck up already too. And that, so once those colors get mixed together, I might go back and sand that a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. It does have to look proper. You can't just do little bits. You gotta do it right. Okay, I have actually painted it and stuff like that. Still wet and so a little bit messy. Use a flat black paint or whatever color you would decide that you want to do. I do something that's flat, and then I can add my fancy colors in later, you know, more brighter colors and stuff like that. So right now, this is all I'm going to do is let this dry. Then I'm going to glue into place, and then I'm going to start the actual painting aspect of it. And I've got a little idea going in my head. So I said that I was thinking about, I like the idea of it not being a solid square. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to cut a sun. Yeah, so I'm going to actually have it sticking out from this. So even a little bit more, something different. Told you I had something in my head. There you are, and I'll get started on that. So I realized something that I just did. Now I cut the background, like I said, with a little bit of angle, a little bit of curvature. I wanted that, but I thought, well, I'm going to cut out a sun, and that's fine, but I actually can use this piece of styrofoam as backing, and I cut it out. So what I'm going to do is simply just glue that back in, and then I'll just put the sun over top. And there you are. Oh boy. You'll learn things, you'll learn things. It's just the way it works sometimes. So as you can see, I cut out my little sun, and I will be gluing that on. I'll paint it first, and then I'll glue it on. I've already done some sanding on it, so it should be good and ready to go. Okay, got all my pieces done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take some Mod Podge and actually glaze the whole situation, because now I can add paint and it'll have a nice shiny surface and it'll look really pretty. All right, so I'm going to let that glue over there dry up, but I'm going to take away these pieces here, and oh, there's a little bit of glue there that's still wet, and that'll dry up. But I'm going to take away these pieces, and then I'm going to work on the background. I'm going to paint it up blue, I think, is what I'm going to do. Now, you'll notice that you see some textures from the actual advertisement of the Styrofoam. And the great thing here is that I'll be able to make grooves and stuff like that. So you're going to take away from that. You won't see that. So first, I'm going to make some texture, make it work, and then add the blue paint. That'll be the next part. So first coat on, absolutely not going to look that pretty, but you get the idea. So then what will happen is I will actually redo this again with a second coat, maybe even a third coat, I don't know yet. And then we'll go from there. There we are. Okay, so I have painted my background. I think it looks pretty good. I added the sun in there. I used a bit of white and gold paint. And that piece is already glued on, so we don't have to worry about it. So the next part will be gluing on the face and then getting some painting done there too. All right. So I've got everything. I've got my sun, my background, and I'll probably add some more stuff into there. I'm not sure yet. But what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to work on these pieces individually before I actually glue them. Because that way I think it'll be easier. I can pick stuff up and move it around in my hands and then finally glue it to where I want it to be. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's watch. Oh yeah, one more thing. I took these wax marker and I used it to do a white line, and I noticed that it actually came out pretty nice, and you actually I can groove it. See, so I took my line and I just literally was able to groove it. And so I think what that'll be nice is that when I go to add paint and everything, my white line's still going to be there and look nice. And so I'm going to use it also to color in the eye socket. And that, I think that'll look pretty cool. But I think I'm going to start adding colors into it very shortly. And that, yeah, there we are. Trying the oil markers here. And one of the things I do find that if you're going to do that, you have to actually probably do a couple of layers. So let it dry and then get back onto it again. And you should find that you'll get a nice solid color. But yeah, you may have to do a couple of layers. And then I'm also going to be using paint too, so I'll see what happens with that too. Which one's the better one to do? Now, as much as I like using the markers, definitely paint is definitely a different situation. It just goes on better. You know, you put that on, it's going to be nice, it's going to look nice, and then I can use the markers to highlight. So I think I kind of like what I'm doing there. I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to be adding more colors. So there we are. So now you get an idea of basically what I'm going to be doing here, and definitely painting is going to be the better situation instead of the markers. But again, I can use those for highlighting little areas that I want, my extra little lines, stuff that I like to do. So I think it's looking good. It's going to definitely need some more coats and that, but there we are. We are now progressing, going forward. Now with this shirt part here, I thought to myself, I need to probably give it some kind of pattern, right? So basically all I'm doing is making some straight lines straight down, and that will be my sweater or the shirt or sweater, whatever you want to call it. But this will work quite nicely, and I'm just grooving some lines into it. I think that's gonna look good. I might actually go across the other way too. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I like that. It kind of makes me think of a sweater. And then I'll hit it with some paint, and then we'll also probably dry brush it too. And I'm getting some pink paint on it because I didn't wash my hands properly. But that's okay, I'll cover it. Okay, so as I was working on this, there was something that was bothering me, and that was the edging on the side. So I took some of this green tape, it's painter's tape, and wrap that, and then what I'm going to do is I will paint that, and then when I go to do the full gloss over top, that'll also adhere to this, so it'll actually make it so that it stays together. I think that'll work, and maybe a touch of sanding too, maybe. So as you can see, I've actually added the black paint, and that'll help. And then I'm going to just get back to painting the way it was, the way I originally had it. And I had it as black fringe before. I don't know why I didn't just leave it that way. So there you are. Done. Alright, so I've added some color also to the other part of the face. And then I'm going to add some more color down into here. I've been using the markers and paint back and forth kind of deal. So now I'm just going to do my little edging lines and stuff like that I want to add into it. And we'll see where it goes. Alright, having a good time with this one. Okay, so I've been adding some more color, as you can see. Then I'm going to work on this side, the neck, and then the shirt. I'm going to do some background work. And I think we're getting there. Yeah! Woohoo! Okay, I'm happy with this, but not totally happy with it. So there's still a few things I need to do. Basically just adding more paint, but then I'm also thinking, is that too much pink? Maybe I should add a little bit of line texture or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And I think the top of the head needs something. I don't know, just kind of, yeah, just a little something that might just bring it together. And then I think I'm going to add some side pieces here, just to, to add a little bit more to it too. Yeah, I think that's good. That's fine. I think I'm good. I'm happy. I just need to get there. So I have come up with an idea. I'm going to add hair on the top here. And yes, I'm going to add a little goatee for something a little bit different. I think that might be a bit of fun. There we are. So I think what I'm going to do here is just a little bit of shaping and that, and cutting, and next thing you'll know, there'll be hair and a goatee on there. So there I have attached the goatee, right? You see right down here. And then got the hair up there. I haven't attached it. I'm going to paint it because I'm thinking I might actually overlap that corner on the face of the goatee, so it'll have a nice kind of, something kind of pops out a little bit. Yeah. Could have made this a really easy little project and have decided to just keep going farther with it because I'm really actually enjoying it. So there you are. Okay, so you can see this little black line here. So what I did was I assembled the whole thing together, and then I realized I had a little gap, and I thought, nope, don't like that. So I just did that, and now it is time to put the glue on. So let's get the glue on. Well, guys, I had a lot of fun doing this, and I definitely see myself doing some more like this. I'm still kind of slightly debating, and if I do that, I'll let you see it, was actually act a black line around the edging. I'm just not 100% sure. But beyond that, I'm very happy with what I did. And I think all I got to do right now is just put a little signature on it. There we are. P. S. H. Kennedy. So there you are. I've either made a sculpture or a relief. Again, you guys should let me know. With all of that stuff that I told you, styrofoam and all that. And what did I make? I made this. Yeah, there you are. I love it. It's kind of cool and hippish, you know, right? It's kind of weird. And it's also 3D. Look at that, look at that, look at that. And it's all made on this stuff. Yeah, isn't that amazing? So, say in your bedroom or your house somewhere that you decided, you thought, oh, I'm going to put something up, but I don't want all that weight. Styrofoam. Pretty cool. Yeah. So, okay, pause, slow down. But yes, there you are. I love this guy. I think he looks really cool. Yeah. All I used was styrofoam, tape, paint, paintbrush, of course my markers, right? This way? Okay, whatever, which way. There you are, folks. We are done for the day. And I must say, be cool like a big bull moose. And remember to wear your pants.